Welcome. Today in this video I'm going to show you this big project I have up on GitHub, so you can always go to GitHub and see what I got here. I got a master branch and a collections branch, so I got two branches on this project, and I think both branches have a lot of good code that you can look at, and it's good to navigate between the two branches there. And I'm going to show quickly a little crash course on Git, the proper way to download or to clone a directory, a project that has numerous branches, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. First thing I think you should do is you should go to your Git bash, and you can also use a normal kind of terminal such as like PowerShell. But you should go to a directory, an empty kind of, or you should go to a directory where you normally store a lot of your projects. So right now I'm in this directory called documents/learning, and this is on my system, and I could list the stuff we got in here. Okay, so these are the types of, these are all different projects here, right? These are projects that I have in here. And so here, once you're here, you simply just do git. You just do git clone, and then you go to your GitHub, and this is the, and you would copy and paste this code. You'd copy and paste that into here. You'd paste that, and there, and it's gonna create a directory called File Explorer inside your system. And there's actually a way, like, so I got two branches here. So I got this other branch here called collections. And let's say you only wanted to just pull this collections branch. Let's say you only want to pull part of this project. So you can actually, and I have it here, it's called Git Sparse Checkout. You can do a sparse checkout of, you can actually clone specific folders. It's complicated, but anyway. This command here, so you can copy and paste that, and you can actually do this. Let's do this, paste, and so you insert the branch name you want to check out. So let's say collections. Oh, clicked the wrong thing here. Yeah, all right. That's the name of the branch. Single branch, and then here you put the remote repo URL, and that is how you actually clone a specific branch from a repo, from a GitHub repo. So yeah, quick crash course on Git, particularly those cloning those projects that have numerous branches. So yeah, so this project builds on top of a previous video I just did. And in here we're using, we're incorporating a lot of stuff about arrays, algorithms, regex, your file reader class, your maps and ArrayList, all this stuff. So in the GitHub repository I have a lot of like documentation on how to do this kind of stuff. So I have, I'll include in the video description links to a couple helpful sites for regex, which is such as this site, regex101.com. And in here you can type in, I'm going to zoom in here, a regular expression up here. So this regular expression searches for the substring of have in this block of text here. So we could search for have, or we could search for just like RU. Yeah. And so that it tells you what the group 1 is, the group 2, group 1 and group 2 is just like before and after the instance of RU. And actually on this site there's a cool thing called code generator, and it can actually create the code for you. So that's pretty cool. It's not the most sophisticated thing, but it's helpful to start. So you can just simply generate code for regex. So this site is helpful, and this Git or this regex cheat sheet here is good. It's solid. It tells you some of the basic stuff you need to know. So without further ado, I'm gonna try to show off kind of what. So this is the main branch of the project, and so in here I got this. I also recommend you're gonna need. I recommend having 3 kinds of files for a text document you'll search through. So this might be hard to see, but I here in my notepad, I'm trying to zoom in on here, but no, that doesn't help. But yeah, on my notepad I have this big, long, huge file of War and Peace, which is very long. It's over 500,000 words. And then I have another file here where I just this is what I call like a corrupted file. So I copied and pasted a section of War and Peace, and then I added in all this extra stuff. Like I swapped out a lot of strings and characters for like these symbols, and so this will be useful later when we run a different program. So I kind of corrupted like a version of War and Peace here, and then I created a third file here, which is War and Peace, and I just copied and pasted just 60 lines from the book. I had a smaller version of it. And then in your IntelliJ, you can copy and paste those files into here, into your root direct. You can like do this. You can paste it, or you can do like new file, and you can add these to your root directory. Might make it easier to navigate between stuff, but yeah, that's good for like workflow and organization, saving time. So here on the main method of, yes, here. Actually, all these classes have main methods. So on this app.java here, I'm going to search through this War and Peace, the big, long, giant file. And what I'm doing is I'm using regex to search for the word kingdom. And I'm trying to pull out every time the word kingdom occurs. And this question mark letter I here, that actually says we're not going to care about the casing. So we might have an uppercase K or a lowercase k, but we're going to try to get all those words of kingdom. So we'll run this. And there it is. So this just showed us so it tells us, okay, we got some lines of text in this file where it's like kingdom of God, by kingdom of heaven, kingdom here, kingdom there. So I think that's pretty cool. Kingdom. So like look here. So you see how this kingdom is followed by a comma? So it finds this kingdom word, but it also finds, like, let's say the word kingdom without a comma. So it's searching for all these kingdoms, capital K kingdom, all that stuff. So that's pretty useful. This is one way to put in, so this is printing out inside this while loop here. There's a couple different ways you can print out the outcome. I could comment this out. Wrong button. And I could do like this here. It's very similar. Okay, and I could run that. We'll run that. You see that? It's very similar. It looks very similar, but we're printing out all these lines with the word kingdom. Yeah, there's and then if you just did if you only wanted to print out the regex match, I think you could do you can do salt like matcher dot group maybe 0. Let's see what that would do. run that. Yeah, that'll just give us the word kingdom. It cuts off the first part of the line. So yeah, that's definitely a way of doing it. So yeah, there's different ways of doing this, but just play around with this stuff. I got this other thing here. This kind of goes over some stuff regarding like just algorithms and arrays. I may or may not include this on GitHub, but this has a good introduction to like your math.random. This is a very good algorithm to know. This is like the most basic algorithm. This is the greatest common denominator, Euclid's algorithm right here. And then I got this other class with this main method here. So this here, yeah, okay, so this is good for if you want to search through your, if you want to search through a big giant text file that has like, let's say file paths. This is the old like file paths thing I did where, let's say I go to this, yeah. So I have this huge file with like the name of like thousands and thousands of file paths I have in my system. And let's say I wanted to pull out all the file paths that contain like the word Python, let's say. So I could do like Python here, and then I could do I think I have I can copy and paste. I have this here. Yeah, I'll copy and paste this in here. All right, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I'll copy and paste that. All right, so we're going to search the word Python. Let's see what it looks like when it prints out. It's thinking. It's a big file. It's got 100, maybe millions of characters in that file, but it's thinking right now. And it's gonna, there it is. Okay, so that's a lot of files. That's a lot of file paths, more specifically. But yeah, all these file paths have the word Python in it. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's like, so we can go on, we can move on to a different branch. Let's see if this is going to let me check out without giving me a hard time. Your local change would be overwritten by checkout. And I'm going to check out. See what happens. Okay, so now on the collections thing, yeah, so let's just do basically what we just did. And we're going to search that word Python. Remember, we searched that word Python. That did take a while. Maybe we can pick out a different word that doesn't have as much baggage. Let's check. Let's find the word JetBrains. Is that maybe JetBrains? And I'll show you what this one does something a little bit different. We'll run this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. But I guess it is going to take a while. It's really thinking. There's a lot of stuff there. It's still faster than using your default, your basic file explorer that Windows gives you. I'll give it 2 more seconds. 1, 2. No, there you go. Okay, so this just returned a lot of file paths. But you see what this does? This sorts it in order from the shortest string we got to our longest. You know what I mean? It gets so long here, it starts going off the page. But yeah, that's cool. And the way it sorts it is it just uses names.sort string length. I have a couple files here, classes here called array research, and I think this is really cool. So I'm going to run this main method here in this class called array research. I'm going to show you what it does. Okay, so what this thing does here is, and I could have sworn I had written down. Yeah. Okay, make arrays that contain random integers between 0 and 10, right? So what this program does is it has a static, yeah, it has this it's not quite static, but it has an instance of the random class here. And what it does is it creates two array lists, first 5 numbers, second 5 numbers. So it creates an array list with 5 numbers with random values between 0 and 10, and it creates a second list with random values between 0 and 10, 5 elements each, and then it prints out both of these lists combined into one array. Alright, that's what this is. So this is an array here with 10 elements in it with random numbers between 0 and 10. And then what it does here is 3, 4, yeah. And then down here, it creates a map that has yeah. So it creates a map that has all of this stuff, the combined array, but then it filters and searches for instances where there's more than one value, because maps are key value pairs, so the key would be like these numbers and then the value would be the number of occurrences of those. So anyway, this prints out here the values or the elements that we have here that are duplicates. So it tells us that 3 is a duplicate, because you see 3 is a duplicate, and it tells us 4 is a duplicate, and 4 is a duplicate, 5 is a duplicate. Okay, and so and then this one is very similar, but here I have these two array lists. Ignore this. I have these two array lists where I manually added numbers into both of those arrays, and I tried my best to make them random numbers between 0 and 10. So I'm going to run this, show you what's going on here. Okay, so it prints out, the first thing it does is it prints out a set. So if you see here, you know how we have some duplicates here? We have 0 as a duplicate. We got 4 as a duplicate. So with this kind of set declaration here, we're creating a new hash set. We pass in the combined array, and we basically create a set. So if we highlight this, comparable, yeah. Integer class wraps a value of primitive types. So anyway, what it does is it's automated. So it automatically finds which elements are duplicates, and it just prints out a set. It prints out all the elements here, and it doesn't include duplicate values. And then down here, it does a similar thing that we did before, and it prints out which numbers are duplicates. It tells us that 0 and 4 are duplicates, which is right. 0 and 4 are duplicates. That's what we just did before. And then down here, it prints out a final array. And it only prints out elements that are not duplicates. 3, 5, 6, 7, and 10. And you see here, those numbers, 3, that's not a duplicate. 5 doesn't have a duplicate. So yeah, there you go. And I think you should look at this. This can be a pattern for how to iterate through lists and kind of pull out, duplicate values and kind of manipulate data that way. So let me go through some stuff here. I got this find word. Okay, I like this class here. It's called find word. So what this does is it goes through this war and peace 2.txt, and I'll put it down here. War and peace 2. Yeah, I'll cut this down. I'll make it simpler for you. Okay. So what it does is it goes through this file here. Okay. Now this file takes a large section of the book War and Peace. But what I did was I corrupted it. I added in, like I showed before, all these numbers and symbols. I messed it all up. I added spaces. I messed the whole thing up. And so what this program does is it finds all the substrings in that file that only contain normal letters, A through Z, lowercase and uppercase. And then what it does is it prints out an array of all those substrings that look more like normal words. So if I run this, I'll show you. Alright. And it even tells us, yeah, I did the count lines dot size. It even tells us how many kind of normal looking elements we have. So if we compare this to this is the same exact thing. I got it here. Alright, so you see how this is all corrupted, this word, it looks like the word this. And what I did was I took out the number 4. You see this number 444, it took it out. There's no 444 here. You see this funky looking word. Let me zoom in here. VI42134. The program took that out. It only printed out VI. If my eyes are really good, I don't quite see it. I put myself on the spot. Let's go towards the end of this thing here. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Zoom in? Nope. Let's go to the bottom of this file. Enemies, foreign enemies, jesting. Yeah, so you see this funky looking word? It looks like the word jesting. It's got the 7-6 in there. You see that this is hard to see, but let me move this here. But yeah, anyway, this I'll move this around. Yeah, it's here. It took out those numbers that aren't supposed to be there. So yeah, that's the first step. Then the second step is with this regex expression here. It's not letting me zoom in right now. Damn, that's annoying. Can I zoom in? View, zoom. Zoom in. Usually I just do control and then scroll. Huh. Click this button on my mouse. Maybe that'll work. Nope, that doesn't work. Anyway, we got this regex here. Maybe if I do this again, right? It's not letting me zoom. Okay, so I had this regex here. And what this does is it looks through this array here, and it finds the word king. And I sort of messed up here, and the word king does not show up here, so it returns 0. But let's say I wanted to find the word brave, which I just saw out of the corner of my eye. And let's run this from the top again. Alright, see, it says one time. I found this string of brave one time in this array. Remember, it's down here, it's going through with here, it's going through this array here, and it's pattern matching. It's searching for that word brave. And it only found it one time. There's other words it would find numerous times. So yeah, that's cool. That's all. Like, it's good to know that stuff. It's part of like learning like automation. And so now I got this. I'm gonna jump around here. But now I got this final class, which is called Stream Search. And I should have written it at the top here. But what this class does is searches searches through a text file and adds all words to an array, and then what it does is it removes duplicate words. So words that are duplicated, it removes it. And then what it does is it replaces duplicate words with random other words until we have an array similar in size to our original document / array. Okay, so this might be hard to follow, but what I have here is I took the novel War and Peace, and I take out and I put every word into an array, and I find the words that are duplicates, and I take those out. And then what I do is I went onto the internet and looked up the most common words used in the English language. And it's funny because this book, War and Peace, was written by, I think, a Russian guy or something, and so there would be all kinds of translation problems. But this here is a document with 90 of the top words in the English language. So those duplicate words, you could sort of like almost surmise that when you have duplicate words, it's very likely that they're these common words. And so what it does is this program replaces all those duplicate words with these random common words, and it puts them even in random indexes throughout. And then you'll see it, but and then it prints out this new kind of War and Peace thing. So what we're using is our kind of truncated version of War and Peace. We're not going to iterate through the entire book, but we're going through around 60 lines of the story. And I'll run it. Cool. Okay. So, you see here, this is an array of all of the original War and Peace we have. And it only contains, just normal, basic, what look like normal words. And then it creates a new array with no duplicates. Okay, so the word the there's like a lowercase and an uppercase, but it's gonna parse out all the duplicates, right? So this array doesn't have any duplicates. And then this final array is it replaces the difference, right? So you take the difference of this, and it fills it in random indexes sparsed throughout here, these common words. And this is the final product. So this is like if you wanted like an AI or something that could somehow fix like a text file you had. So let's say you had something and you lost a bunch of data from it, or it got all messed up somehow, and you needed an AI to roughly generate like maybe like what information might have been lost. If you needed AI to swap out and kind of help you automate and replace missing data, this is an example of it. I might be able to improve on it by adding the casing qualifier, upper and lower casing, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And it even, like before, it counts. So the final count is the same exact as the original count. Size of common words, it's telling us that we're going to deal with 90 of the top words in the English dictionary to automate. But yeah, it creates various new array lists to help us go through all this stuff, because this is a lot of like code here. But it is pretty cool. The math.random is really cool. So this really is random. We're inputting random frequencies of these words. So we're using it here and here, math.random. We're putting it into random indexes. Right up here, we got this. Maybe my zoom will work right now. Nope, still not working. Okay. So I have this, private static method here, get random index. This helps us pick out a random index to put in, to insert new words. So all this functionality is in there. Just check it out on GitHub. And again, I think it helps to go through just this primitive stuff, like basic stuff, this array research 2, this Euclid, and try to wrap your mind around how these arrays work and different ways you can fill in. Like here, I have a couple different methods for how to fill up an array. So I'll actually run this one. See what happens. See if I remember what it does. Okay. Yeah, if I remember right, did I do this one right? I think I did. I think I had struggled a little bit with this one, but more or less, I got this double array called array shuffle, and I try to go ahead and shuffle that array. I actually do know now how to properly shuffle this, but you get the idea. There's a couple ways you can see how you can shuffle elements in an array. But yeah, that's helpful. It's helpful to go through this stuff. Go through this array research 2, a couple different ways to use ArrayList. Yeah, so this stuff's all important. regex. Go through these two websites. Get a little bit familiar with how regex works. It's very tough. Like, I had a very tough time kind of dealing with it because it's very tricky. For example, let me go here. I'm jumping around so much. But like look at this. So like this here, this is good for finding a string in an array, ignoring casing. And this here does almost the exact same thing, but it pays attention to casing. That spacing is important, and you have to really pay attention to this. But again, use that website, the regex websites, to kind of help you put together your regex plan. And as always, the project directory is all up on GitHub. and happy coding.